The intrigue of the matchup between Boots and Stanionis lies in his exploration of how dynamic Boots can be as a boxer. This bout serves as a crucible, testing Boots against a hardened pressure fighter who will challenge not just his skills, but his will. It raises profound questions. Will Boots utilize his weapon strategically, or will he succumb to the allure of the knockout, seeking to impose his will through sheer force? Stanionis is a pressure fighter who excels at mid to close range. However, he lacks the explosiveness needed to close the gap from the outside, making his jab crucial for getting onto the inside in order to position himself for his power punches. A notable habit of Stanionis is jabbing with his head on the center line, which makes it easy for opponents to counter since his head is exposed and easy to target.
Down and both of them throwing over around.
That power jab that we talked about, Stanionis, it's just so powerful.
His high guard is disciplined but basic, with few defensive layers. While he occasionally shows head movement, there's little variation in range changes, as he constantly presses forward to close the distance. His guard remains static, relying on his shell to absorb most punches. Main adjustments he makes is dropping levels to get lower. He often leans forward to absorb punches and hold his ground. This squares up, allowing him to cover a larger area of his head and body. This allows him to stay in position to throw hooks and uppercuts effectively. The downside of this defensive approach is that it doesn't block every individual punch. Without defending against each punch, he doesn't catch or roll against combinations, meaning he absorbs every punch. His defensive stance also leaves him vulnerable to uppercuts from below. And hooks aimed at the body around his elbows. Another fatal flaw is his approach and his plotting footwork. He often advances in straight lines, neglecting the use of lateral movement, which makes it easier for opponents to time his entry into the pocket. This vulnerability becomes even more pronounced if Boots can neutralize his jab. Should Stanionis fail to effectively cut off the ring against Boots, he faces the prospect of a long and challenging night, endlessly pursuing a ghost in the ring.
Yes,
will be an improvement. And
the inside.
See, it's those uppercuts from my. I mean, not really.
Well, you see in that display right there, those punches.
Again, not doing that, but again, Stanionis is just.
Stanionis just missed the right uppercut.
Stanionis has been clubbing that right.
Just as every boxer is created different, so too are pressure fighters, each bringing their own flair to the ring. While they all share a high work rate and durability, their approaches set them apart. This is why it's crucial to study your opponent, to understand their attack strategies, and identify the points of engagement. Stanionis applies intelligent pressure. This means he maintains a close distance behind a tight guard, while consistently pressing the action. He prefers to operate at mid to close range, using a strong jab to close the distance. There's not too many feints involved, as it's a no-nonsense approach. Stanionis favors a hard jab, using it to push his opponent's back and allows him to enter the front door. He effectively blends a variety of combinations, mixing his power punches, primarily focusing on 2 to 3 punch sequences. but rarely repeats the same combinations consecutively. This variation makes it difficult for opponents to anticipate his patterns, maintaining a consistent and unpredictable attack that targets openings from body to head.
He is on the ropes, and Stanionis, that's and every option that Butayev is.
Once inside the pocket, he doesn't just bombard power shots. Instead, he looks for small openings, probing and exploiting them when he sees an opportunity. Notably, he does all this while maintaining a tight guard, rarely pulling back out of range. This approach helps him conserve energy and fight more strategically. He gets his punches off, then covers up, minimizing the risk of being countered. This allows him to maintain his position in the pocket. If his opponent doesn't retaliate, he opens up again. This pattern enables him to apply steady pressure, all while balancing defense and recovery time. Although Stanionis doesn't have a complex guard, he has a very disciplined one. His hands are always where they're supposed to be, allowing him to sit in a pocket. This opens up a few avenues for attack. The first is to catch his opponents right after they finish throwing the shots. If they aren't reactive or ready to defend, they'll get punished for it. Being in such close proximity, the other is to catch and counter. The tight guard is like a mousetrap. The second their gloves touches his, he reacts as it triggers his counters. This will be the toughest pressure fighter Boots has faced to date. The real intrigue lies in discovering just how well-rounded Boots truly is. There will be intense exchanges, but he must demonstrate his strategic side. The key to defeating a pressure fighter is keeping them at a distance. If Boots can effectively use his range attacks and movement, he can control Stanionis from the outside. The space between Boots and Stanionis should be filled with obstacles, allowing no easy steps. For Stanionis to get within punching range, he'll need to carefully navigate through the minefield. In a bout such as this, it's the man with the more fluid mindset who ultimately prevails. Yet this fight will be forged through a rigorous and demanding trial.